right, you're listening to Apostates on the Fringe, the leftist atheist podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Alistair.
I'm Dustin.
And I'm Sam.
What you drinking, Sam?
I actually got a variety pack, so I have new shit. This is a Gerst Amber Ale, and it's good. Tastes like an amber ale.
Nothing special about it?
A pretty solid amber ale. Yeah, it's from Nashville. Tennessee represent.
I picked up from the Sweetwater Brewing Company something I had early on in our show. I want to say episodes 3 or 4. It's called the Troptimistic. And it's a wheat ale with passion fruit and kiwi. And I forgot that it tastes very much like, almost like Going Coastal IPA. Which is like, if you held a gun to my head and I was forced to drink an IPA, that's the only one that I can kind of deal with. Pernicious isn't bad, but like I said, so now I know why I don't get it that often, because it does kind of remind me of something that's trying to be an IPA. What about you, Al?
I'm drinking the Left-Handed Brewing, that same peanut butter one from last week, finishing off the 6-pack.
Okay, nice. I still need to try one of those.
Pretty good.
I probably should have just stolen one, since you do leave it here. You probably wouldn't have known.
I probably wouldn't have.
You don't keep. Well, now that I know, I'm going to start stealing y'all shit when you're gone. Middle, at least force Sam to get new beers.
I got new beers.
Well,
Got a variety pack.
Which is better, because at least you won't have the same. I'm drinking the same thing last week times 3 weeks in a row.
I planned a month in advance.
Did you?
I usually do.
Oh, that's at the level of like organization. I'm not there. Like I'll like sometimes day of I'm like just panicking to find something. You too?
Yep.
But you have to do it pretty early to get in the refrigerator to cool off, because you typically go to Bearden and they're not refrigerated there. So mine, I limit mine to, because it's like a last stop for me.
Right.
I limit to basically what's available, which is why I still have that shitty pancake blueberry fucking beer in my fridge.
You'll pawn it off soon.
I'm hoping I get rid of it.
Get David to drink it.
Do you think he would?
It's worth a try.
I mean, he'll try it and probably promptly pour it out, or it'll accidentally get knocked over. Knowing, because it's really fucking bad. Like that's why Southern Grist will never allow me to like promote their beers, because it was just not, and it's expensive for a non. It's kind of pricey for being not a high graft beer too. So I'll stay away from the Southern Grist probably for a while. They turned me off entirely with that one.
So Afghanistan's pretty cool. I hear it's a really cool vacation spot this year. You should book your flight right now.
Yeah. The airports aren't busy at all right now.
You can get a really good deal.
Did you hear about the 21-year-old kid who did just that? Like on Friday, he flew over there because like he thought it would be like this cool vacation, and he fucking booked it out of there.
He's like, "What are your tourist spots? This is where we beheaded someone this week."
Yeah, the Taliban took over Afghanistan a lot rapidly than was anticipated.
Well, I've heard people say that they think that the government just kind of handed it over.
I was going to say,
because they didn't seem to fight.
You're not lying. I've read reports where several places were taken without even single shots even being fired. The Afghan people aren't fighting for themselves, which is why Biden's like, why are we going to continue to send our troops when they won't even fight for themselves? And there's a lot of people. Didn't you notice a lot of people, especially on the right, who supported like the Muslim ban and everything else like that, are like all up in arms about how poor of a decision Biden is for leaving the people of Afghanistan.
But Biden didn't even make that fucking decision. Trump did, didn't he?
Yeah, he signed it. But he signed it last year. He signed a treaty with the Taliban. Actually, I thought.
I don't like I said, these people, they change their minds so quickly. I don't know how it doesn't snap their fucking necks.
Well, they don't really even know what they're talking about either. They just want to push the narrative being pushed to them.
Well, when you have your followers are stupid puppets, you literally just give them barking orders. The orders this week are, we wanted to be in Afghanistan forever.
Yeah, it's this sunk cost fallacy that they're kind of holding on to.
That's a pretty long sunk cost fallacy. Yeah, we've been there for fucking years.
20 years billions. I think the total was 88.
I think the thing that really got it is the new recruits that were coming in were born after the war started.
Right.
Like, that's how fucked up this has been. And everyone's trying to blame Biden, but it's all, everyone else before him's fault. He inherited this mess. It's everyone else that
In a war that we should
every
have
president before him, especially Bush.
Especially Bush. I mean,
Bush got us there to begin with, and it was it's kind of amazing how, we armed the people that were fighting. We armed.
That's true, but so the worst part is that Afghanistan, the Afghanistan people, army, military, their police outnumbered them, outgunned them, but they didn't fight. They had poor leadership, and they were just quickly overtaken. I've heard there were some that were bribed out of it as well. So that's kind of why they took over so quickly and without. I mean, there's violence, but it's not a full scale war that they had to do to take over. It was done
because
very
they knew
easily.
They were going to be wiped out. I think that knew that they won. Like, the U.S. couldn't win against the Taliban. Their own government can't.
Yeah,
my point was that we gave them weapons 30, 40 years ago, and even with our high technology and drones and all of this, they didn't do shit to them for 20 years. The war was won by defense contractors. Like, that's who this was for. So somebody made money off of it, and that was the real goal of it.
Oh, there's tons of money made off of this. Now, it is unfortunate that the people of Afghanistan who are clamoring to get out, they're left in this situation. I know we've all seen the videos of them trying to just cling on to the side of the...
I've heard horrible stories. Horrible stories.
Oh, yeah? Care to elaborate any of them?
Not really. They're pretty bad.
About anything that you could expect.
I mean,
right.
How desperate do you have to be to get out of there?
Talking about planes having to land again to remove the body parts so that the wheels will go up.
Yeah, that's right. There was one in the landing gear. But then there was videos of them actually, as the aircraft was flying several hundred feet in the air, you can see the bodies falling off. That's the desperation of the people there. I mean, you kind of feel for them, but then again, this is a war that we shouldn't have been in the first place.
And then you have fascists being like, they just want to come to America. They want to come to America this bad. No, they went out of fucking Afghanistan. Like, they don't give a fuck where they're going right now. They want out of that country.
Speaking of fascists, there was one guy who he'd said the Taliban wants to ban vaccines, ban abortions, ban gay weddings, or something like that.
Republican.
Right, pretty Republican. And they're like, well, we've been fighting for the wrong side or rooting for the wrong team the whole time. Like,
right.
That's how fascist these people fucking are, or literally rooting for terrorists because they hold... Isn't that interesting? They hold the same ideals as the terrorists. I mean...
They're the opposite side of the coin of... They're both fascists. They both follow... a brand of Christian religion.
They want the same fucking thing. They just call their God a different name.
Right.
I mean, what they want in the country is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
But what gets me is that what we see now, especially on social media, is everyone that's suddenly become an expert. Because they move on. They're fickle and they move on. And like we talked about before, they just push the narrative, whatever's told to them. And they have no fucking clue what happened or why it happened. And it was inevitably going to happen anyways, I think.
Yeah, and now Biden's getting slack for it, and he doesn't deserve any of it. Like, he's the one trying to get us out of it.
He's firm as fucking his stance, though.
Good for him. Best president of my life. Still standing by that.
The eye rolls I see from Alistair.
Is it not?
Yeah,
tell me who was better. Is he better than Obama? Did Obama get us out of this war?
I just don't like the constant reminders, Sam.
It's fucking true.
But yeah, I mean, he came out and said, the buck stops here. He took responsibility for it. But he said, we're not going to send our sons and daughters to fight in a war that Afghanistan will not fight for themselves.
Another good note is that he's the only president who had a son fight in the Afghanistan war and probably got cancer from it and died.
I didn't know where he got the cancer, how. I'm not sure you can
people
get cancer.
Thought it was from the burn. Some people think that it was the burn pits that he caught his cancer from. So his cancer could have been linked to his tour in Afghanistan, and he's the only president who actually has an actual connection with Afghanistan.
I know they're still trying to evacuate. There's still roughly 15,000 Americans, and several other of the population that are still trying to get out. Those airport images are just awful. But
what about those old Trump tweets?
those Trump tweets. There is a tweet for everything because he immediately came out and so motherfucker like it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. He put out a thing that says "Miss me yet?" with like a little spotlight. I'm like, bitch, you signed this thing,
right?
And you did nothing to get the people out. Yeah,
I saw he's distancing himself from the fact that he signed that.
But there's a tweet for everything because he's over here criticizing Biden for pulling the.
There's a lot of tweets.
There were like 9 of them. It was
one of the things that he ran on in 2016. Like he was staunchly opposed to it because, like, I mean, that was part of his criticism of attacking anything Obama did, and Obama wanted to stay in the war, so he had to do the opposite of that. And then he got in there, and then all of his defense contract buddies were like, no, this is great, keep it going. He's like, yes, sir.
Yeah, there were a few companies that definitely profited from that, and then so they were the winners.
A few?
There were a handful that mainly...
Yeah, there's a handful that make all of the money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money off of that. And then, of course, basically the Taliban made out like bandits with that because they took all the weapons that we left behind, tanks.
Well, we gave them the weapons in the 80s, and that's what happened in Rambo. So my co-hosts are not aware that the end of Rambo 3 thanks the Taliban and their ending title score at the end of the movie.
Seriously?
Yes. I saw somewhere saying that, like, in recent releases of the movie, they changed it to say the people of Afghanistan. But the plot of Rambo was Rambo fighting with the Taliban, because who were the Taliban fighting beforehand?
Russia, right?
Yes, the Soviet Union. So,
and actually, Bin Laden was like, he praised that they basically bankrupted them after 10 years of fighting. That was their kind of primary goal.
Of Soviet Russia, and then did the same to us.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I mean, we spent money. The amount of money we spent there could have, healthcare, education, you fucking name it.
But we made evil people richer, and that's the entire point of the country.
Yeah, valid. But now the people of Afghanistan who've kind of depended on us to protect them and keep the Taliban at bay. Some people are arguing that we should be there permanently with a small force, but
I mean,
I don't understand why they think as our job as a superpower to police the world, to world police, though. I don't understand.
We have fucking stations all over the fucking world. We made it our job to police the world.
I was equating it to if you invite an alcoholic friend over for a week and he like trashes the place and then he leaves and you're like, wow, this place is trashed. Well, it happened when you made him leave. Call him back. Get him back here.
There are some who are trying to send troops back, but I mean, honestly, we just need to stay out. I mean, there's some.
They are going to implement, their Sharia law. They're like, all the women are going to be subjugated. It's going to
100%.
Complete male rule.
They had said that they had said they
Sharia
wouldn't.
State.
The Taliban leadership had said something about that they wouldn't. I don't know the right phrase, but there wouldn't be like violence against the women.
Oh yeah,
but on like literally the next day or same day, there was reports of like women's bodies being for not wearing burqas and shit like that.
Yeah, they'll literally kill you for wearing a burqa, for anything, doing anything, basically. Complete 100% patriarchy.
Even with that being said, I still don't feel like it's our job to police the world. And
I mean, we obviously can't do anything.
Obviously, we can't. We were there for 20 years. We trained them. We gave them. We gave them all these weapons, and then within a period of days, they lost control of the country in Kabul. If I'm pronouncing that right, I probably butchered it. But all that, obviously, it's just they're still holding on as a sunk cost fallacy. But it was obviously the right decision to finally pull out of that endless fucking war.
Should have been done many years ago.
Yeah, now we just have all these other wars we're in.
Actually, we should have never been to war.
Good thing that wasn't the only war we're in. Isn't that great how America can leave a 20-year war and it's like, okay, time to focus on all these other wars we're doing. America can't win the war against Afghanistan. We lost Vietnam and we lost the war on drugs. What the fuck can America actually win?
Wasn't there a thing in Saigon too?
Yeah. I mean, America's not really good at winning things. They're just good at like spinning the wheels and making.
We are number one. You shut your mouth.
They're really good at spinning. They're really good at making certain people money with wars. There. The goal isn't to end the war. The goal is for the war to be continuous.
But I mean, like, we had to airlift people out of Saigon is what I meant when I said that earlier. Like, we had the same situation where we pulled out, but then we still did, like, send people out in helicopters and evacuate the people in Saigon.
I mean, yeah, we lost Vietnam, and what we were trying to prevent happened there, too, except they bounced back.
Yeah, the utter collapse that just happened within days is just kind of embarrassing, given the number of resources and training manpower that we put into the people of Afghanistan.
If they handed it over, like, if they didn't fight, like, why didn't they fight? That's what I don't get.
There were some who did, but they also admitted that there were some who just didn't, who just gave up. I have heard
a combination of them being like, meh, can't beat them, join them.
Well, so you also understand that the majority of Afghanistan is like severely uneducated. Like they don't, like they can't read and write. They live to grift. That's it. And so outside of stable leadership, these people don't have the ability to run an offensive against the Taliban. That's kind of how, or a defense, I guess. And that's how it just rapidly, I mean, a lot. Now, I know the CIA had kind of had a report that this could happen. Don't know if it made its way to the Department of Defense or whatnot, but it happened much faster than it was anticipated. So I guess this now is the goal is to get whatever people out of Afghanistan that they can. But I know that the U.S. isn't too kind on taking refugees because, you know, we don't like poor people, poor uneducated people here in this country.
You kind of have to.
No, I'm talking about like I'm talking about the right, how they don't want people who are fleeing terrible and drastic situations.
But I mean, like I got my Facebook permissions back, but I haven't been really looking at Facebook much. Are they like welcoming suddenly to these refugees, or do they still have the same views? Are they just not talking about the fact that we're going to have this situation where a lot of people are going to need to leave this country, and where the fuck are they going to go?
So unfortunately, a lot of the message is just how poor of a job Biden is doing, not so much what the status of the refugees. Well, in terms of the comments that I'm reading, it's all about
criticism is worthless if you don't follow it up with some kind of solution.
Yeah, that's why you have to be dangerous about this. Like, I've seen Democratic news sources attacking Biden because Democratic news sources are also capitalist news sources, and Biden is making a really good decision here that I think all of us leftists agree on, but capitalists do not agree on this decision. He has gone against the capitalists who made all of their money in this war, and even Democrats are attacking him because they want to go back.
I think the only mistake was not keeping a larger presence to keep the airport clear and creating a safe path to those wishing to flee to the airport while withdrawing the remainder of the troops. Because it wouldn't take a large number. The Taliban wouldn't really want to fuck with the U.S. because they know that you start killing Americans, now you have, you know, full-on engaged war again. But just a small... That's the only change I would have suggested. But I have like no foreign like knowledge whatsoever or any kind of like policies information at all. But I would think that would be a better solution instead of like them literally taking off in an airplane surrounded by 10,000 somewhat people clamoring to get on a plane because they're so desperate to get out. I think keeping a small force might have been more ideal to aid in the evacuation of those wishing to leave.
I agree with Biden. He said he thought the chaos in Afghanistan was inevitable. And people, I mean, like, yeah, it might have taken a little longer to happen but all of this still would have happened.
Probably. As I said, I come at this as a novice, and I don't have any kind of, like, I'm not going to try to claim to be any kind of expert on anything. It's just something that made sense to me once I saw the images of the people there that are trying to leave.
The Democrats are attacking Biden now because of this move, and I think it's purely capitalist attack. Because he's hidden people in their dollars, and this is what we would have wanted out of a...
Well, I think it's also to appease their constituents because the constituents are seeing these images of panicked people clinging on the aircraft and they want to address that.
They don't care. Like I said, people are. You think they care about the immigrants?
They really don't. They're just, like I said, they're pushing a narrative. That's all they're doing. They don't know or care what's going on or why it's going on.
The narrative is, oh shit, we need to make more money off of this forever war. That's what I think. Just be careful of Biden, of seeing people attack Biden from the left and from the liberal and the right. I think all of us leftists, he's done what we wanted him to do, which was leave, and we knew the consequences would be hard.
Well,
I've been saying this. I wanted Obama to pull out, and
we never should have been there, and to begin with.
No, we shouldn't have, but still, now it's even more ironic that we had that picture that Bush fucking took on that ship that had that mission accomplished banner. Like, no, fucking nothing was accomplished except a waste of lives, money, resources,
and his friends making billions and billions.
Yeah,
of dollars.
So I guess mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. They made. I think Boeing.
They didn't tell you the actual goal of the war. The actual goal of the war was accomplished.
Yeah, I think Boeing was one of that. Think of one of the ones that like made out like bandits on that whole situation. So there we go. Capitalism pushing
right back to capitalism.
Right back to capitalism.
A capitalist war.
So let's talk about this bomb threat that happened earlier today.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So 9:15 this morning, some guy drove up on the sidewalk in front of the Library of Congress. Started fucking live streaming himself on Facebook. Facebook, of course, let this go on for hours.
No one had flagged it, reported it.
I'm sure people reported it. I mean, he was out there. I don't know what I've only seen clips, so I don't know where these clips line up in the thing. But he says he had called 911 3 times himself to get everybody out of the area.
So he called 911 on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
so it kind of screams like the Nashville bomber kind of.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it reminds me a good bit of that, except he didn't detonate his bombs. He said that the bomb he had was it would only go off with loud noises. So if somebody put a bullet through his window and his window broke, that would set it off. A cop said he saw what looked like a detonator in the car too, but no, big old fucking steel drum type thing.
It did look like a barrel, this is a regular barrel with some gadget on the end.
Yeah, it had some kind of battery pack and clay on top, and he said he had ammonium nitrate in a toolbox in the back of his car.
So what was the kind of things he was saying on his live stream?
He was going off, of course, about Joe Biden a lot, and he used the word patriot a lot. He kept saying, you wanted a revolution. This is the revolution.
You're right. You know what? Blowing up potentially trying to destroy a congressional building is definitely a patriotic act.
Right. He at one point in the videos, he's like, there's a capital of something. There's another capital over there. He didn't even know where he was. He didn't know any of these buildings. He's clearly not a very educated man. And at one point he goes on about, when he's going off about Joe Biden, he goes on about how he doesn't have health care. Dude's fucking poor and uneducated, and he's been fucking filled with all these conspiracy theory shit. I don't know if he mentioned the cabal. I don't know if it was his shit I was listening to earlier today that mentioned the cabal or something else, but clearly brainwashed by fucking media and everything.
So he's a far right-leaning guy, but was mad that he doesn't have health care because it's kind of like...
Well, he doesn't know what he's
the
actually
left pushes
mad
for.
At.
Well, it's Biden and Obama's fault he doesn't have.
He's a fascist tool of the state. Well, not the state now. I guess it's the enemy of the state. Fascist tool.
Well, no, even the enemies of the state from the insurrection were patriots, Sam. Yeah. Come on now.
They're all patriots. I knew from immediately when I heard about it. I'm like, know what side he's on.
So it was a pretty long standoff because I don't think that he surrendered to them until close to 2-ish?
Probably 2 or 3 o'clock today. So yeah, it took several hours. They evacuated a good bit of the building.
Congress wasn't even in session, by the way.
No. He didn't even know where he was.
He wasn't even anywhere near.
And he
You think he paid attention when they were in session where he didn't even know where he was seated at?
I know some people were kind of alarmed by the
Do you
fact
think
that
he knows? Do you think he can name the 3 branches of government and what they do?
No,
Let's
He
give
can't.
It's what's worse than that is like a lot of Americans, standard Americans, just fucking can't.
Let's give him a quiz.
It was embarrassing, the Daily Show. I forgot the guy's name, but he goes out to all the Trump rallies and he would ask those kind of questions, and just embarrassingly they couldn't answer. But they knew Trump. But
Lizard brains.
lizard brains.
People that completely react off of the lizard brain. A primal, emotional.
Well, that's kind of
state.
what he fed off in the first place.
That's that lizard brain that's inside.
Well, it's not just him. Even Giuliani did it.
all of
Fucking
this.
Mike Lindell
Yeah,
does
all
it.
of them.
Right. But yeah, so the standoff lasted for quite a while. They ended up bringing in negotiators. One point, I think something took a little phone over to him, and it was his mom on the phone.
Oh,
But he apparently has a wife
honey,
and
put
kids.
the knife bomb down.
Guy has a wife and kids, grandkid.
Do you
Just
think
fucking threw everything fucking away because he's pissed off.
Do you think he's mad because Trump wasn't reinstated last
He
Friday?
said that he doesn't care if Trump is reinstated, or if he becomes president again. He said he didn't care about all of that. He was a patriot though, and he would fight for this country.
Fight whom, though? Did he mention who the enemies were besides Joe Biden?
No, he wanted Joe Biden to call, and Joe Biden was the only one who could save his life. Even though he said that, he can't detonate his bomb, and only Joe Biden can do that by firing a bullet through his windshield or through his window. There's so many contradictions in the videos, just in the little clips that I saw.
Wait,
and
Biden
things I
himself
read.
would have to shoot him?
Well,
what
or
he said?
send somebody to shoot him.
okay.
But he
That would be
put it
funny,
all
though.
on Biden, and if it happened, it would be Biden's fault.
Just imagine Biden just on the edge of a building with a fucking sniper rifle looking out.
Let me do it myself.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. But he said he was one of 5. What was that about?
Yeah, he's pretty much while speaking to Biden on this live stream, he was talking about there's other cars nearby that had bombs in them, and that he's one of 5. He's just the little guy, and he's doing the work of other people. And
So he admitted being a puppet. Okay.
but
The big
if
guy's
he's-
Fox News. He didn't tell you that part.
yeah, it's who are the other people? Are there other people? If there are other people that other than Fox News, and he was working with people to build the bomb and stuff, that's alarming. And it's not like we don't know that shit's happening somewhere
Right.
anyway.
And we kind of knew it would. We knew
Yeah.
that things would escalate. Fortunately, either the device wasn't real, or
We're kind of
just-
lucky that these people are just this fucking stupid.
we really are.
So far.
Yeah.
well,
so far.
yeah, statistics. One will get through eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a statistical probability.
Well, the FBI has been catching a lot of people before they even actually make the attempt. How did this guy sneak under their radar?
Yeah, that's right, because they caught the cats who were going to fucking kidnap Gretchen.
They've caught a lot of people preemptively since January 6th. People planning on shooting up places.
Yeah, they found a cache of weapons on one
Right.
person's vehicle or house. A fucking
Right.
cache.
That
I'm
was
talking
the guy-
thousands of rounds.
Yeah, that was the guy who was already charged in the Capitol insurrection.
I mean, I'm not going to
He's-
give it to the FBI. I'm pretty sure these people are just posting on Facebook. Gonna shoot up the president today.
Well, they're probably on their Telegram or
Right.
other apps that they've infiltrated, and posting images of their weapons. I'm going to go. Who's with me, brothers? Who are my fellow patriots that will?
I hope they're enjoying the memes in our leftist groups.
Yeah.
So speaking of Fox News, didn't they just put out a thing that they're going to require like all of their staff, including their anchors, to disclose whether they've been vaccinated or not.
Yeah, whether like even the people who like work at home.
Oh, really?
Every employee has to upload their vaccination status.
That's going to piss a lot of people off because Tucker Carlson has always kind of dodged that. He's never talked about it, while at the same time questioning the efficacy of vaccines and how dangerous they are, and what all the questions he asked to make people doubt getting the vaccine.
A reporter texted Tucker Carlson asking if he was vaccinated, and Carlson responded with, "Did you have sex with your wife last night? In what position?"
because that's the same thing to them. He thinks that's personal. I mean, it's a lot of people get asked these questions when you're like that visible of a person,
right?
Who is vehemently, especially when you spend a majority of your segments almost every fucking night downplaying the vaccine, having your viewers question the vaccine. So if you have that stance, damn right you should be asked that question.
I took an Uber earlier this week when I had a nail in my tire. While it was getting fixed, I took an Uber to my house, and the lady driving, she was really nice at first and was wearing her mask, and she was telling me about how she gets really annoyed with having to fight with people to wear their mask, and all these people don't want to wear their mask, and it's talking about being vaccinated and all this. I'm like, this is good. And then I noticed her, like, listening to some news. I'm like, what are you listening to? And it's like, see, I heard on the news something about getting the vaccine. The vaccine's effective. Get your vaccine. I was like, what are you listening to up there? She's like, oh, I'm listening to Fox News. I'm like, oh, so they're encouraging getting the vaccine. Well, they have since the beginning.
Oh, my ass. Oh,
like I said, this is how fucking stupid these people are. They literally will listen to only the last thing they were told. Like I said, they can be told a lie for years and years and years, and if they are told something different today, that's not all they hear. Like I said, these are not fucking the ways that human beings think.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say
this is not a path that logical human beings actually think. They're tools.
So after that, I was like, well, Tucker Carlson is still trying to, like, discourage people from getting it. I'm like, he may not actually be saying that, but he's asking a lot of questions that, like, imply people shouldn't be taking the vaccine. She's like, I think he just wants people to look at the data that's been misrepresented, and I didn't say another word on that damn car ride home. I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
I get that way too.
Well, you're getting a 0.
Yeah, I did give
0 for being a dumb bitch.
You have to leave a 1. I was nice and gave her 2.
Nice. Did she have snacks? Is that why?
She wore the mask. That's why.
Okay. I mean, I hope you got a snack.
Yeah. So apparently they're having their staff because they're making, I guess, masks will be optional if you're vaccinated. So I guess they want everyone there to disclose their current vaccination status.
So they could verify.
I mean, I'm not going to watch Fox News to see if Tucker Carlson rants about it, but I'm sure it'll get posted to fucking Reddit. So
I may watch tonight just for the fun.
Was that pushed out today?
I think it was today. It got pushed out.
Okay. Well, just let me know later because I'm not fucking watching it.
I won't watch it. There's no.
It's a lot of vaccine misinformation going on still. Like you said, Sam, they don't only remember what the last thing they heard. Because from Fox News, from I want to say fucking February all the way up till June, like that was their primary push was to be kind of anti-vax.
Like Fox News is fucking evil. I don't know why we haven't burned down all their fucking buildings yet. Like they are doing this to try to hurt. They're literally killing and making everyone sick to try to hurt Biden. That's
Burn down in
their whole
Minecraft.
goal. That's their entire fucking goal, is to hurt Biden, and they are willing to make the entire country sick and kill hundreds and hundreds of people. Like, this is the definition of evil. Why are these people allowed to do this?
They actually came out and said that their whole goal was to be against Biden. They literally said that.
Why are these people allowed to do business?
What was their goal pre-Biden? They've always been...
to shit on the Democrats and prop up the GOP. That's always been their goal. That's always been their goal. I mean, look at how they treated Trump before he won the fucking nomination.
Right.
Until they knew that he was the one. There was a moment where they switched. Like I said, they switched plans so fast, I don't know how it doesn't snap their followers' necks. Like, they were against Trump, and then they figured out, wait, he's the one. An automatic switch. And that's when I saw in my Republican friends, because I had Republican friends back then. I saw it in them where they were following the fucking path that Fox gave them, and they were like, "Oh yes, Trump's an idiot. Ha ha ha. How stupid." A week later, you know what? He has some good ideas. That's all it takes.
They forget really quickly, but Fox is also very good at what they fucking do. They know how to
manipulate
how to talk
to the lizard
emotional
brain.
And get an emotional response from people, not a logical
They're
one.
talking to the lizard brain. Fear, hatred,
right.
racism.
It's all emotions, not logic or facts.
It's those deep down parts that evolution that has seeded in us to hate everything else that's not us, to follow the biggest, strongest alpha male, which is Trump, apparently.
And to push, and to, what's even worse
God, how pathetic is that?
Occasionally, I'll go to their
it was
website.
Hitler too. Was Hitler an alpha male? Like, these people don't have. It's charisma. That's. But
Trump doesn't have charisma.
No. He has tons of charisma falling out of his fucking ass. The thing is, it's charisma to the fucking lizard brain people. He has charisma to the stupid. He speaks to the fucking the part of the human brain that doesn't fucking think. That is pure I'm not joking. It's the fucking lizard brain. He speaks directly to that. That is charisma.
But Fox News does the same thing, and so occasionally I'll go to their website.
Heads of the same beast.
And they won't really have a way to push their narrative, and so they'll find some fucking nobody to provide their stance. X slams Biden on this, and you look at who? It's fucking no one. No one of even note. But it's a story that they can push their fucking narrative. They do it all the fucking time. They put these names out there. This person slams this person. This person,
because
against
people are going to click on the article. They're going to be like, "Oh, look, I saw." But They just scroll through and they see 5 articles that say blah blah speaks against Biden, blah blah speaks against Biden, blah, and that's the only thing that sticks. And then you talk to this person. They're like, "Well, I hear that all these experts don't like Biden."
You click on me these are fucking nobodies. These aren't experts in their fields, or they're former Trump administration people, or even once I said on the show before, it was their own fucking staff on Fox News that blasted Biden on this or that. They're going purely off of reactionary. And you're right, no one fucking reads the articles anyways. They're clickbait artists that just easily get shared around. That's what they're fucking good at.
Yep.
Yeah, they want you to just get the impression that I hear a lot of experts are against this person. Well, I saw it because I scrolled and I saw the name 5 times. So,
well, unfortunately, Fox News isn't the only one that's good at causing reactions without looking at facts. I shared a fucking video out to you guys today that really pissed me the fuck off. It was a Instagram air quote model, and she put out a TikTok video in which she claimed to have
that bitch.
Yes. She claimed that she had a disability after receiving the COVID vaccine. And so you watch this video, and it literally she's trying to mock or mimic someone that has a severe neurological
cerebral palsy. Is
something
mimicking.
akin to that.
Is it the same as that dubstep girl from that time before you?
I don't know, but if you watch the video and you watch it carefully, it looks like she's hooked up to medical equipment, but one of them, I swear to fuck, is an iPhone charger underneath a Band-Aid.
An iPhone charger.
I swear to fuck
it was.
I swear that's what it looks like.
She had the little, what are those things called that's put on your head during an EEG or EKG?
The EEGs and EKGs, oh, you mean the electrodes?
Yeah.
Right. No. So, and I was reading the Reddit thread, and people who actually do this for a fucking living, they're like, "This placement makes no rhyme or reason and no sense." And she's in a fucking car with those on.
Some are on her chest, some are on her head, and
they're measuring
two
tit
different
and brain activity at the same time. But what got me, so here's how dangerous that is. That's been seen by over 1 million times and shared over 380,000 times. I was at one of my locations this morning, and I'm always encouraging the vaccines. Always, always, always. And I'm working on one person in particular because I think I'm real fucking close. And she's like, well, what about the shit? And I luckily I just seen this video and like kind of gone through it. She had seen the same fucking thing on TikTok, and it weighed on her. So I said, come here. And I took her back there and I walked her through the video second by second. And there's a part where you can see her hands are like locked in a position, but she's not fucking consistent with it, because there's another time her hands are free and does a little clap motion. You notice that her makeup is meticulously and beautifully
her
applied.
hair is done perfectly every time. Yeah.
She was taking a selfie in the car while steadily holding her hand, while in other sections where she's being recorded from a third person.
The fact that electrodes were on her while she's sitting in the car.
That was the dumbest part. But unfortunately, they set up a GoFundMe for this bitch. It's up to over $15,000.
I want to like pull a Jay and Silent Bob and allegedly and satirically find her and pull her out of that car.
But someone had shared a video where this isn't the first time someone had tried this. There was one during a flu vaccine scare. It was a Inside Edition, was following this person.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
She claimed she couldn't walk forward. She'd walk sideways.
Yeah. And then that is what I'm talking about, because there was a viral video that came out of that of where she was having a spasm and they like played dubstep like she was dancing to it. And then like people were sharing that and they're like, how dare you make fun of someone with disabilities? It's like, shut up. This person's lying.
She claims that she only walks normal walking backwards.
Yeah, that's
she
the
had
one.
some.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah. But then they're like, well, amazingly, next week here she is walking with her friends, driving, going shopping. Like, she was obviously just blatantly faking it during this. She said she got that reaction 10 days after receiving the flu vaccine. This person saw that, is like, I need to do that, but fucking better.
Yeah.
And apparently a million times the thing's been seen, and it almost convinced my fucking employee. I had to like walk, and then at the end I was like, now you see what I'm talking about? And she understood that, yeah, now this is fake. But there's a lot of people who fucking saw that and are fucking buying it, and it's fucking disgusting.
And so that GoFundMe she has like 15,000 in it.
According to the Reddit thread,
Isn't that fraud?
it is fraud, and I think Reddit's on it, so I'll let them do their thing.
Reddit does their thing. Go Hive Mind, go.
They're wrong sometimes. I remember when they got the wrong Boston bomber.
Yeah. They were real smart, big brain move.
Big brain on that one, but this one they've parsed through this one, and they're going after. They got the Instagram. They're like, wow, she had this, but was able to attend a friend's wedding and walk down the aisle just fine. So, but it's just people like that who are just happily, like, they're so narcissistic to try to get that information or the attention from these people while killing people by making them not want to get this life-saving vaccine. We talk fucking COVID all the time, but hospital beds are fucking filling up around the country. Alabama has none right now. Tennessee says, you guys have to fucking wait.
We had 7 people die in one day this week.
Did we?
Yeah.
So
I don't know what the total for the week is, but 7 people died on, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday, in Knoxville.
what are these comments on the Reddit post about her? My kid did a better job at age 5 pretending to be allergic to broccoli.
God, like I said, these fucking lizard brain people are just like fucking.
They ate it up.
Show.
They're eating this fucking video up because they're not looking at it rationally or
because
logically.
they want to.
You can see the fucking iPhone cord in the fucking Band-Aid.
They just want. They want to believe.
They do because it reinforces what they think they already know about the vaccine, that it's dangerous, that it's not safe, that everyone else is taking right now are guinea pigs.
I mean, I right before coming over here, I had someone say that he would bet $1 million that everyone's going to be dead in 6 months to a year that took the vaccine, and I'm like, bet. Where's my fucking money?
I would 100% take that bet.
Yeah, I'm like, where's my fucking money?
I would
bitch?
bet everything in my savings account right now to anyone who would bet that we would die in 6 months or a year. After
I mean,
vaccine.
I don't get it. Like,
do they think this is like a mass quelling? That's the goal, the end game is to kill their population with the vaccine. They think it's fucking new, but it's not. We discovered SARS-CoV-1 in the early 2000s and started developing.
Yeah, they're
mRNA
like, I don't believe that it's safe after a year. They don't know that it's like mostly something that was around. But like, if the government wanted to like kill off a bunch of people, like they would do it in a much smarter way, right? Like, Let's fake a virus for like a whole year and shut down the entire world so that we can inject everybody, and that'll do it. That's my big brain government idea. Like, even their conspiracy theory makes no fucking sense.
You would think they'd want to do something to the water supplies or something like that. It'd be a lot easier to do, but it makes no sense. It's weird because it's always the far right people who are claiming that, but they're the ones that are fucking dying because they're not the ones getting the vaccine.
Because they're still useful tools. They're pawns in the game, and the game is destabilize America, and they are winning.
So, do we think Russia could be behind this too? Then
Russia's been behind.
Yeah.
Was behind the whole entire Trump presidency.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, they're behind a lot. Like,
it still baffles me that it's Trump's vaccine, yet they still won't get it. I know we talked about it last time, but Jesus Christ.
I mean, I think what we would be living in now if Trump actually... What if...
he had advocated for it?
You know what?
In January before he left office?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Like, I think that if he was in office, they might be going in a different direction. If he could take advantage of it. The thing is, he can't.
He didn't in January though. At the time, he was too busy saying the election was stolen from him. And also after January 6th, he was taken off Twitter, so he couldn't tell his people to go get the vaccine. Which I think him being off Twitter is probably better than any other solution. Than I don't. Do you think he could have encouraged us? Do you think they would have listened?
No. Like I said, like if you study cults. A big thing with how cults progress is the fan base influences the leader as much as vice versa. So there's a point where the leader has to be more wild to keep his followers in check. So if, like, Trump says, hey, let's all get the vaccine now, and they're like, oh, wait a second, then he's like, never mind, fuck the vaccine. Like, he has to, like, lead by seeing what crazy direction they're going in.
Okay.
So that could be true as well.
So on Monday, in Fuck You Tennessee news, Bill Lee signed an executive order that would allow parents to opt out of their children wearing masks if the schools were to issue mask mandates. As a result of this, Oak Ridge High School had a mask mandate that they rescinded because of this order, because it effectively allowed parents without any kind of document or any kind of proof just to allow their child to opt out of any mask mandate. Because he's actively trying to kill Tennessee's population. I mean,
if I meet anybody who supports Bill Lee, I will punch you in the face. Like I'm just
going to record you saying that, so you don't have to say it.
I'm fucking done. I'm like, how could you support this man? How could anyone support this man?
I'm just going to copy that and then I'm just going to insert it into every episode.
How could anyone support this?
I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could, because this is actively trying to kill this population, because we know it's spreading through children. They're getting it, and they're ending up in the ICU as well. I mean, kids are getting sick and dying from this too. And he's like, nah, parents can make their own decisions for their children. Except this is a red state. They don't wear masks here, and they're not going to.
Nope.
The people keep. Yeah, I mean,
I have to say I have seen more masks in stores this week than I did.
But what stores? Not Walmart.
No,
even in Walmart, I've seen more masks. It's still, most people are still going without, but there for a while, I was the only person in some stores with a mask, and now I'm going into stores not feeling like
the worst part is about the allowing the children to opt out is that the parents can make their own decisions, medical decisions for their children. Except that's not what the mask is fucking for in this situation. These masks are to not protect your fucking kid, to protect all the other kids they're going to be in contact with. So
the only thing we have to hope for is a vaccine. We cannot trust anybody to do it.
We can't, but they're not going to give it to the kids.
Well, they're gonna have to figure it out because that's the only.
Are
way
they
it's gonna
not
save
at
them
all,
this
or
point.
is it just not?
I mean,
approved
these
yet?
people, these same people these same people will not give it to their kids.
As long as
That's okay,
good,
well-
as long as everyone just needs to get, everyone that wants to fucking live just needs a vaccine. They're gonna give
I'm
everyone a
kind
booster
of getting
shot
to that
pretty
point,
soon.
unfortunately. I really am kind of getting to that point where
I
it's,
think they said in September they're going to allow everyone to get booster shots.
the boosters right. So right now it's already been authorized for immunocompromised and high risk individuals. I know 2 people now who have received their booster shots.
I know at least one.
Promising news.
I've
for,
seen those memes of like Pinhead from Hellraiser, and it's like me after getting all my booster
that
shots.
was great. I will take a shot every fucking month.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I mean, like if I just got a booster shot while all these people like just run around like fucking idiots and getting themselves sick, then that's what we got to do.
I mean, I really am getting to the point where I'm being numbed by all these people who will never fall in fucking line to protect their fellow man.
They'll never
So
do the right thing.
They
Like,
won't. And so I'm kind of getting numb to the idea of, well, if they fucking die, they die. I'm just, it is what it is because they're not going to do their part. And I'm almost done trying to convince the hard-headed ones. I'm working on the ones who are kind of on the fence. I will still try to get them to do it. But when I'm going through the comments on fucking any COVID-19 article on WBIR or WBLT, I'm like, fuck everyone in this. You're all gonna get sick. There was one, and it's a sad situation in fucking Texas. Haha, Greg Abbott got COVID, but of course he has a vaccine, so he has mild symptoms. But 2 parents both contracted COVID, unvaccinated, and they both died fostering their four living children. And it's a sad situation, but these people are just,
I mean, that's the thing about a lot of foster kids go through hell because they're picked up by, I'm sure they were religious folk.
I mean, it is Texas, so most likely
I mean, we
it's a
can,
right-wing state.
anybody that's right-leaning is probably religious. So
Tend to be, yeah.
So most of the unvaccinated are going to be religious folk.
I'm going to
still.
assume they were right-leaning because they were unvaccinated because of how polarized the vaccine thing is
I
right
have
now.
known a few Democrats and liberal people just have been too lazy to get it, but I think even them, the personal ones I know, have gotten into this point.
So I don't know stats, but I'm just saying, like it's a sad thing that now their 4 kids are left, to be put in the foster system because they couldn't care to get the vaccine. They don't see that. I try to tell the person I'm working on, I'm like, how do you see these numbers that are put out every day that hospitalizations 97% are unvaccinated? How do you see that and be like, nah, I don't want the vaccine? Like, I don't understand how they can make that decision.
Compartmentalization, bam. Lizard brain plus compartmentalization equals bam.
This is the lizard brain episode, Sam.
Lizard brain. There's your name.
Okay.
Just keep that in your mind about the lizard brain that's inside of every human being, and maybe more so part of some people than other people. But when you talk to people, you'll see it now, and you'll know that that's the part that you're talking to, that instinctual, reactive part of everyone's brain that's on the forefront of these people.
Well, we do have some good news. Al, you shared this article. This was, I think this came up today on the Tennessean regarding the U.S. Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona. He's sending letters out to 8 states, Tennessee being one of them. Basically, all the states where governors are trying to just, not allow mask mandates in schools. And basically they're monitoring the legality of that because of the Civil Rights Code or something like that.
I think there's 2 different things.
There's two-pronged. Is it 2-pronged?
Well, so that's one thing. I think there's another thing that has to do with the states, in order to receive certain funding, they have to follow certain guidelines from the government, and public safety that has one of them too. So they got a letter about that, and then they got a letter. Well, no, I think Biden is using the civil rights error thing that he's pretty much it'll put a ban on states forbidding school districts from having mask mandates.
Oh, I do have the death numbers in Tennessee for today. 51 deaths in one day today.
In Tennessee alone? Okay. So I want to read, this is from the Tennessean. Did it say which counties or just total, just all of Tennessee?
Total.
Okay. I mean, I know we're not nowhere near as high as Florida. Did you guys see the infographic that out of 50 counties of the worst cases of hospitalizations, 23 of those counties reside in Florida? And DeSantis is still holding firm with like, no, fuck you, no mask mandates. Because
he's a little bitch.
God, they all suck. But I want to read this. This is from the Tennessean. This is from the letter that was sent to Bill Lee for Cardona. Tennessee's actions to block school districts from voluntarily adopting science-based strategies for preventing the spread of COVID-19 that are aligned with the guidance from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention puts these goals at risk and may infringe upon a school district's authority to adopt policies to protect students and educators as they develop their safe return to in-person instruction plans required by federal law. I'm hoping they pursue the legal means and get that overturned. I know they're looking at that. You shared a post, something on Facebook, inquiring about deaths was that in Knoxville, where we had lost some educators from COVID-19?
Oh, shit, yeah. So here in Knoxville, they seem to be trying to be really hush-hush over the fact that, like, a school lost one of their teacher aides this week, and then someone else in the school district died this week. Like, 2 people lost within our school district.
And I hadn't heard about it until people started asking questions in this thread.
So right now we have schools in Knox County where they've formed parent groups that are voluntarily, revealing if their kids have been tested for COVID, and they're contact tracing amongst themselves.
Because they're not doing contact tracing anymore, is that correct?
They're not doing contact tracing. No, they're not. So, I mean, like, our school board was 5-4 to not have masks.
Yeah.
Do I get to talk about my
Might as well. You met with one of them.
I did. My nemesis, Patty fucking Bounce. I got a hold of her phone number at the end of last week, and so Saturday I sent her a text message, pretty much telling her hell was created for her. You
didn't open up. You opened up with a rant.
Yeah, she's deeply Christian. She uses her religion to make decisions on the school board,
which is something you should always do when representing
a so I knew
population.
I had to use language that she understood. And I told her that if anybody, if one student dies this year, that would be blood on her hands. And I was like, you sit on your high horse or something. I was like, but, like hell was created for you. Or you sit on your high horse because of your relationship with God. But, if hell, and I didn't make it out that I was an atheist at all. Apparently, my message piqued her interest, and she asked me to go have coffee with her. First, I was like, I don't fucking know about this. And then I was really, like, entertained by the idea of my nemesis buying me coffee. So I'm like, wait, are you buying? And she agreed to buy. We set it up for Monday. I went and talked to her. It was not the most painful experience I had. She was respectful. I was respectful. We did talk about the mask stuff, and I asked her to reconsider it. I was like, when our cases go up here, and they will pretty soon, I'm like, will you please reconsider it? And she said she can't make any promises, but she did tell me that she was looking at studies that show that kids are affected more. She said she admitted to me that she believes COVID is, like, real, and that it is a problem.
What did she say because I'm sure you pressed about the efficacy of masks and like the science behind it.
Her only reason that she gave me for voting no on the mask was that there was no deadline. Like if cases got better, that there's no time to take, like that parents can make those decisions on the mask. I was like, you sit on the school board. You can change how these proposals are made. I was like, what if, Knox County's numbers are below, let's say, 150. Still pretty high, really. I don't know. I don't know what the magic number would be, but if they're below this number, we will not have masks. As soon as they rise above this number, we put mask on. Once numbers drop back down to this number, we can, relax the mask mandate. I was like, you have the ability to do that. And I mean, she one thing I got to give her is she did listen to me. She was like in tune. She wasn't ignoring me. She wasn't just trying to argue with me about stuff. She actually did listen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna. When we left that day, she left the door open and said, "I'd be happy to do this again." So I'm just gonna watch how things go, and that if the door's open, I may enter it again and try to talk to her. Because the worst she could say is no.
Yeah.
No,
well, good for you. I mean, like, it's kind of, unfortunately, our fucking jobs to have to convince these people, and I'm glad you had the opportunity to meet with your nemesis. who could be, because it was 5-4, could be the deciding vote next time.
It could.
So, I wish
and this is, I mean, she's highly Christian. I spoke at the school board as a satanic minister. But, I can say after this breakfast, she bought me a bagel too. After this breakfast, she doesn't see me as the even villain that she did before. We talked about my kid. She saw the human side of me, which is one of the things that I was hoping that she would see, because as long as these people keep seeing us as monsters, they're not going to hear us. So I had to humanize myself to her and hope that she would start hearing me.
Did she mention your shirt?
At the school board meeting?
Yeah.
That was weird? No, she did not.
You think she even knew who you were?
She knew who I was.
Okay.
She actually brought up, she talked about...
You mentioned the theatrics.
Yeah, so the last school board meeting, I called all of it melodrama. I was like, look, I love theatrics. I, was up here speaking as a satanic minister before, and she brought that up. She knew about the backroom knocks and recognized me from there, so she knows who I am.
She's on backroom knocks.
Or not backroom knocks, I'm
Okay.
sorry, Bible release time.
Okay.
That BR. But no, she knows exactly who I am. And afterwards, she thanked me for going out. She's like, if we ever want to do it again, let me know. And I sent her back. I'm like, I want you to know, I went through my closet. I went all through my closet to find the one single shirt I own you can't be offended by.
What was it?
It was actually this shirt.
Okay.
So, just Worst Year Ever podcast. She doesn't know what it is, but it's a leftist podcast. Her response was, I didn't wear my no mask mandate shirts. I'm like,
A fucking eye roll. No,
yeah,
good
that's
for you.
exactly the response I gave.
No, good for you. That's, like I said, this shit we have to be doing because apparently they're not getting it themselves. And hopefully, maybe your next meeting we can knock some fucking sense into her.
Yeah, man.
Hope she puts a lid on her drink.
Yeah, she did. We took a picture. I'm like, I need a picture just for proof for my friends because I don't think they're going to believe I actually did this. She's like, should I put my arm around you? I'm like, no, COVID's still a thing. So she kind of stood behind me some.
Did you say that she said she was vaccinated?
She said she's not vaccinated.
Oh, okay.
She said
So
she's not.
if we could just give her COVID by the next meeting.
So you're saying if I come down with COVID, have...
Just say, hey, we
call
need to
her
have
for-
coffee tomorrow.
COVID.
We
call
need
her
coffee
for another
tomorrow.
meeting.
All right, there's something really crucial I need to know. What bagel did you get? Because you went to Panera, right?
Yeah, I got an everything bagel, but she ordered mine, and she does butter on her bagels instead of cream cheese,
Butter
which was
bagels.
like...
You didn't get that apple cinnamon, whatever whatever.
No,
bagel?
that's what she got.
Oh, that's so good though. I will say that's one of the fucking best bagels.
I
You
love
agree with her
everything
on something.
bagels.
I agree with Patty Bounds on something. That's the fucking best bagel at fucking Panera. Is that apple cinnamon? It's not even apple. It's just a cinnamon fucking
Cinnamon.
cinnamon. It's fucking good. All right, so before we wrap up, we do have our ACAB of the week. All right, Al, you shared this one this week, and this one's out of Northern California.
Yeah, so family was traveling. It was a woman and her father and 3 kids, 2 of them hers, 1 her niece.
They were young, weren't they?
Yeah, like 2, 3, 4-ish range, really young. She pulled off on the side of the road to switch drivers with her dad because they were traveling, I think, from Sacramento or something.
Yeah, I mean, as one does. It happens all the time. People pull over to swap drivers all the time.
It was late at night. It was this empty highway, and cops came up with their blue lights, and because they had 2 different tags. Apparently, there was California on the front and another state on the, or California on the back and another state on the front.
Right.
But they had already run the tags and found out that the tag in the back went to that vehicle. And
wasn't reported stolen.
Right.
The one on the front was Maryland or some shit. But irrelevant.
So Nakia Porter, who's the woman, ends up getting slammed to the car, slammed to the pavement, and knocked the fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah, she was knocked unconscious.
Mm-hmm. For she says 5 minutes, I think. They dragged her unconscious body to the car, put her in there.
I think the cameras actually showed that.
Yeah. And then when the paramedics came, the officers like, oh, she was just out for about 5 seconds.
That's just for 5 seconds, and she was resisting arrest, which the video was inconclusive on.
Right.
It's not uncommon for fucking police to fucking lie. And it's so fucking infuriating. Because without their body cam footage, who would have known that there was this inaction?
Right.
Or these actions taken against her. So she gets knocked the fuck out. They had guns drawn too. They had fucking guns drawn with them. Fucking 3 kids in the back seat.
And she asked to go to the when the paramedics showed up. She asked to be taken to the doctor or the hospital, and the police declined.
The hell?
The police declined her going to the hospital, and because it was just 5 seconds. There was no brutality. They were saying
this is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this. This is from NPR. So Porter requested she be transported to a hospital. According to the lawsuit, deputies McCampbell and McDowell, because say their fucking names so they can be shamed to hell, denied the request, continuing to lie to the paramedics by minimizing the assault and the injuries they had conflicted on Miss Porter. Yeah, they slammed her fucking hard. To be out for, I think the video said for 5 minutes, that's kind of a long time.
She's 5'2" and 125 pounds.
She's little.
Tiny.
That's so little.
Yep.
And this absolute brutal use of force, and the fact that they didn't even try to. Why were they even escalating? There was no de-escalation required. There's no de-escalation. We bitch about them not de-escalating. There was none required. And then they draw guns with 3 fucking kids in the back. Jesus Christ.
She claims that when they pulled up, and this probably was on the body cam footage, she's like, we're just switching drivers. We'll be on our way in just a minute. And then everything escalated. There was no need to de-escalate. They just fucking escalated everything.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There was absolutely no reason. And then I still can't believe it. With towards them, with 3 small kids in the back, even with the kids not there, with no threatening action to have guns drawn on people, fuck these up. And then, of course, immediately lie to the paramedics. Of course, you have a shirt that encapsulates fucking this and everything. And it says, record everything, cops lie.
Right.
Because they do all the time.
Cops lie, record everything.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
What'd I say?
You said it
I probably
backwards.
reversed it in my head like an idiot.
Yep.
Okay.
We're all dyslexic on this show, by the way. Just letting everyone know.
I definitely am.
Yeah.
But this is not an uncommon occurrence where the statement of fact that the police put out, even on their official reports, when they beat people or they claim they have medical emergencies or something like that, is not uncommon. It's fucking disgusting that they...
That was made just for police to do that shit, too. Mm-hmm. Why was our ACAB not about the local ACAB?
What's going... Oh, is that the motherfucker with the stalking?
Yeah.
Because we also had a KPD officer who was put on paid suspension today.
Paid suspension.
You mean a vacation? Back where I come from, that's called a vacation.
KPD won't talk about why he was put on paid suspension. They're being real hush-hush about what's going on here.
Because they're waiting for it to blow over.
You know, I will admit, I know very little about this story. I think I kind of saw the headline, but I didn't get into the story. So he was stalking some folks?
Okay, so our local police department's full of racist assholes.
We can confirm.
Let me set that up. Let me set up the stage. All these people, I have personal stories from friends that have been stalked by KPD officers too, by the way.
Yeah.
They should be in it. Like the KPD and sex offender registry is a circle. It's not a Venn diagram. So, Officer Shitface, what's his name?
Yeah, who's in the middle of a divorce, I believe.
Yeah, he was stalking his wife. Let me find his name real quick. He was a student resource officer at West High School. So this guy was around kids. This article I'm looking at does not give his name, which they probably should have, because come on, fuck.
The department released a picture of him, though, right?
Yeah, of course it's not his mugshot. It's his. He looks like if you see this guy around like a park, you should definitely report him. Coy Lee Tucker.
What was that again?
Yeah, I see the name Tucker here.
Coy. Coy.
Yeah, Coy.
Coy. What kind of dumbass name is that?
I had an employee named Coy.
Is this the same guy? Did he
No.
Does he look like a pedophile?
This motherfucker sent her 59 text messages in one day, including 45 after she told him to stop unless it pertains to the children.
Good to know he has children.
Well, and this isn't a good look for
Tucker is the
visitation.
fourth KPD officer to be the subject of a high-profile internal affairs investigation this summer. Just this summer.
Yeah, because we talked about the other officers with the
we've now
racism.
updated to 5 that they're not talking about because others on.
So basically, if you see a KPD officer, know that you're looking at a piece of shit, and it's legal to flip them off.
It is.
Yeah,
It's absolutely legal.
So
I do it all the time.
You could even say, "Hey, you're a piece of shit. Go fuck yourself," and they can't do anything.
They
about
can't.
it. But be recorded when you say that, because you could win a lot of money. That's going to come out of your tax dollars, so it's kind of like paying yourself.
Does Tennessee not have bullying laws of the other fucking
not
states?
Yet.
Not
yet.
So that's why you can call them pieces of shit right now. We need to get it done right now.
Don't take legal advice from a podcast. But I swear the first
I
person...
do it all the time, and I get away with it, man. Do it.
all it takes is the one person to like win a lawsuit against that for a fucking anti-bullying law to come out.
That's why, I always say that I hope I get arrested for my shit against cops, because I know my fucking rights. Go ahead, fucking arrest me. I'll fucking sue.
Yeah,
but
then your lawsuit, if that were to happen, your lawsuit would be the catalyst for Tennessee to be the next state to introduce that same type of law that we saw in those other states where you.
Early voting's coming up soon.
Early voting is now.
It's now. Early voting is now.
Okay,
yeah,
so Tennessee is one of the worst states in this whole fucking country. We are full of the worst people in this country. I don't know if people in Louisiana and Mississippi are probably worse. But we have some of the worst fucking people. So if you have half a fucking brain in your head, go and fucking vote, because hoping that the maybe enough people have died that we can turn this shit blue and actually get some common sense legislation through.
Be fucking awesome.
Not yet, at least not here in Knoxville.
Someone that's really good at math. Look, we know the rate that people are dying. We know the differentiation rate from blue and red. Like, how many people have to die from COVID before we can turn the state blue and stop all this fucking madness? Let me see those numbers. And we'll email us next week.
At admin@apostatepod.com.
I want to know the numbers. Like, I am horrible at math. So someone figure that out for us.
All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for episode 28 of Apostates on the Fringe. Thank you guys again for joining us this week. As always, find us on social media. If you'd like links to the articles or contact the show, visit apostatepod.com. Continue to share out the show everywhere you can and leave us a 5-star review. We will see you all next week.
Flip off cops. It's legal.
Record them, too.
Everyone has a fucking lizard brain, and they're using it.
Thank you all very much. Apostates on the Fringe. Apostates on the Fringe.
The views and opinions of the hosts of Apostates on the Fringe do not represent the views and opinions of the Atheist Society of Knoxville. For links to all our musical contributors, go to apostatepod.com and check the About Us page. A big thank you to Michael Scott Arden, who allows the show to use his full catalog.